find it difficult to focus on your customers and even your own employees as you're juggling numerous vendors? Do you have more meetings with vendors than you can count? And do their reports filled with technical jargon make you feel clueless and frustrated? Such is the story of Nathan. Being at a car dealership, he's concerned about his store's digital marketing presence and invests most of his time dealing with vendors to promote his business and gain more sales and market share. Nathan is busy handling reports and reviewing them, not knowing what is happening on the advertising front and about his true ROI. Poor Nathan is worried but can't figure out a solution until he found BZ Consultants Group. BZ Consultants stepped in and was able to take the digital marketing vendor burden off Nathan's plate, giving him peace of mind that the best interest of the dealer was always top of mind. Being an unbiased third party, BZ Consultants always made sure to relay the reports in easy, relatable, and actionable ways so that Nathan could best utilize the data. Now, Nathan can focus on what he really wanted, the customer experience and growth. By being your digital marketing business partner, BZ Consultants Group will remove the hassle trying to hold your vendors accountable and increase your productivity with the time you will now have armed with true data. Together, we make it possible because your success is our goal.
Well, hello, and welcome into the Furniss Fast Lane. And Mike, you made it in just at the nick of time. That could not have been timed better. Welcome in, everybody.
I just got the cue. What do you mean?
We're in.
No one told you. Yeah.
You know what, Mike? We're just glad you made it. It is Friday, and we are talking offline. It's been a rough week. It's been by Tuesday we were thinking it's been like 7 weeks and like 2 days. So we're not sure about everybody else, but are you all feeling the craziness of this week? I was talking to a friend and they're like, I think it's a full moon this week. I go, I don't know what it is, but I'm over it. I'm just done with it. I'm just so excited to have, can you see this panel right now? We have got an incredible panel. We've already got comments rolling in. Larry, hello to you. My dear friend Larry, we've got our OG Russell here. Hello, and what a great day to be on with you all. And we've got Brandy coming in here. Brandy, hello to you. Yes, Brandy. I don't know what's going on, but it is a crazy ass week, and I'm done with it. Like I'm done. I want it over. I need to be in Vegas this weekend. I'm done. I just want to be over, and it's already freaking. It's so cold. It's cold. I want to be done with it. We got Russell saying hello, Brooke. Allie, big. I think that's supposed to be, it could be Big Mike, but I think he's going with Big Al. Mike and Mike. We'll go with Mike and Mike in the morning. And a special hello to the April Simmons, the April All-Stars. So stoked. And we got Felicia coming in here too saying hello. We got all sorts of people coming in right now. But we are so stoked to be breaking down our episode that dropped yesterday. And oh my gosh, we got Roberto coming in. Hello from Black Widow Imaging. Roberto, good to see you. So excited here. But we had a stellar episode that dropped yesterday. And I'm super stoked to be breaking this down. But I want to know from you all, have you had a chance to listen to it? What did you take from it? We're all going to be speaking at Digital Dealer not next week, on the 18th, Wednesday at 1 p.m. And it's not just us. There's 28 of us. I mean, I jokingly said I loved Lori Halter's post. I know we all saw it. She's like, are you sick of seeing our posts? I think we're tired of posting, but you're going to keep seeing posts from us because we're going to keep posting. We're keeping on doing this. But Al, I know that you're short on time here. So I'm going to first start with you. And, hold up. We got Jamie here. Jamie, good afternoon to everyone, and good afternoon to you. Al, let's start with you first. I'm going to throw up. I always say that. I'm not going to really throw up here, although it has been one of those weeks where I probably do want to throw up. Yeah. Al, what was one of your takeaways from our incredible episode that dropped yesterday?
So for me, actually, a lot of it was a lot of stuff that Allie was talking about that really just ties into what all of us were talking about, but it's communication. It's communication with our employees, it's communication with our customers, and how do we properly do that? Because if we get good communication, we're going to have a better customer experience, we're going to have a better employee experience, and it's because I work a lot with our fixed operations, and so a lot of stuff that Allie talked about when it comes to fixed ops, I can relate to, and that we have a huge breakdown in communication all the time. And so like when we're talking about, when we're going into Google Analytics and all this here, communicating that information to our managers, communicating that information to our owners, it's all important, SEO, SEM, all of this stuff. It's about communicating. And so that was my biggest takeaways, because everything that we discussed, it's all about proper communication.
Amen. Allie, I'm sure you've got a few thoughts on that. You want to follow up that one?
I do. I have so many thoughts. I just had an experience this morning where in a conversation, I thought that I was very clear. The person did not hear the way that I intended it. And so we had to do a breakdown and go, okay, where did we miss? Because this situation is not good right now, because we thought things were happening that weren't happening because of the miss. And so I agree. I think it's all across the board. I graduated with a degree in communication, so I joke that I should be an expert, but even in that vein, it's when you think you're communicating enough, you're not. So just do a little bit more. Just do a little bit more. You might feel like you're being annoying. You might feel like you're being repetitive. Perfect. Hey, we as a team are communicating with our people to come see us in Vegas, but that's why we're doing it. We want people to know what we're trying to say, make sure that we're doing our job. And so, I appreciate that, Big Al, because communication, we're never going to perfect. It's not a thing that we perfect. It's something that we always grow. And the more we do and the more we talk about it, the better everyone around us gets.
Well, even at the end of that, it's like we talked about it. So like Mike and I'm sorry, you guys are just going to be like the Mike.
It's Mike squared at this point.
Mike, it's like our finishing thoughts. So like we all said the same thing. It's all about the data. Okay, so it's like data is how we make decisions, but how do we communicate what that data tells? And that's the biggest thing. And that's like I said it before. Like I love numbers because I can make numbers tell whatever story I want that story to be. And so you sit in front of people and you go, hey, look at this. This is great. It's like, are we communicating the right thing to get the right goals? So and that's, again, with our customers and our employees.
Amen. And by the way, you've got Roberto is saying that Big Al been trying to reach out to you. So just a heads up on that one. You're getting called out right now, Al, just to let you know.
Everybody tries to reach out to Big Al.
I'm telling you, Roberto, right now, I can look at my inbox right now. There's a lot in there. So I'm not ignoring you on purpose. I don't discriminate with ignoring people. I do it.
It's also been one of those weeks. Let's just preface that up front. I didn't know you're going to get called out on the live stream. So we're going to circle that down. So we're talking about collaboration here, and we've even got Jamie. First off, let's go. Brian is saying brilliant. Brian, I am once again a little biased, but I would have to agree. We have some really brilliant people on here. Jamie's saying is collaborative communication. That's a lot of alliteration on a Friday, though, Jamie. I'm just going to say that was a little difficult.
And she spelled it all right. And
I don't know how you're spelling things correctly on a Friday here. Here's the story. Yes, now I'm going to have that stuck in my head as well. So thank you for that, Brian. So I'm going to go. Either Mike can take this one because we're talking about as we segue into collaboration. And he's saying, hey, even with the data portion. So either Mike can take this. What was if you want to continue on with that, or one of your takeaways? Either we'll go. I'll go with. I've got Mike C below me, so go Mike C.
Yeah, I would say I would bring that up a little bit onto the vendor side, on the collaborative side, and the communication side is basically I think one of the things that we are hearing, and one of the things that I've had a bunch of people reach out to is basically getting a little bit better communication between our partners, meaning on the data side, how are we working better with the people that house our data? How can we collaborate better with tools that we use and all that stuff. So I would take it up on that front. And obviously communication is key. I actually just got off a call earlier today where I was on the same thing, or the same notion of I said something. I thought someone understood what I said, but ultimately what comes out of my brain is very different what people hear of what I'm trying to intend to say. So I would say that is equally as important. But I would say as we go into digital dealer and the world of collaboration, I think that us on the vendor side, I think we have to do a better job of communicating and collaborating with each other as well.
Well, and being adaptable, Mike, as far as how we communicate. So it's like, I like to think I'm pretty good at email. Like I can send a good email that, you can understand and articulate what I'm trying to say. But some people aren't good at that, and I have to pick up the phone. I have to call that person. Some people I could have a text conversation with and fix it up, and I think that's important, especially on vendor to dealer side, because I see that all the time. It's like, well, this is how we do it. This is how we do our deck meetings or whatever. It's like, well, forget it. Adjust how you communicate to me,
right,
what I want.
Well, I've actually fired people because because of the bad communication. If I'm going to get on a call, for me, it's got to be worth my time. What strategy are we talking about? It's got to be communicating back and forth. But if it should be an email, then send it in an email.
Yeah.
Don't waste my time. I had 3 people yesterday who generally are like, when can we hop on a call? I don't need a call. I mean, if it's a yes, no question answer, we don't need to get on a call and schedule something. I'll show you my calendar there, find a place to fit in. Sure. We'll get a call. We'll jump in on a call. So, and I'm just going to shame you for a second, Big Al, for taking my takeaway. It's not fair. I'm like, I got to
tell you. That was your takeaway?
Yeah, you took my takeaway. You took my takeaway. No, I just first want to say a happy Friday. It has been a week for me too, so there is something in the water. But I can't express how incredibly lucky I am, and to have all these brilliant people coming to help dealers. When I look at how am I able to do what I'm able to do today, it's because I have people like Brooke and Allie and Big Al and Mike in my corner who have helped me along the way and showed me and helped me solve my problems when I get stuck. So this session I'm super passionate about, but more than that, I'm humbled and happy to bring so many brilliant people to the table to help other dealers who maybe don't know who to reach out to when they have a problem. So thank you all.
Amen to that. We've got some more comments coming in here. We've got Dan Moore chiming in here saying it is important for dealers and vendors to set expectations for how to best communicate. We've got Wayne, I think your caps lock button was stuck here. So I don't think you're mean to yelling here, but it's been one of those. The way we communicate with others ultimately determines the quality of our work and life. Plus God gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth. And with that, Dan is also saying, so very true. We all hear and speak differently. Jordan Cox is saying, look at this wonderful panel. Yes, very wonderful panel. And I'll say this too, with that communication is so often is that to take tone out of when you communicate. Because so often you get an email and you perceive it as something when in fact that's never how it was meant. But we assume it's something. So just don't assume the worst in somebody that, oh man, they just I almost just dropped an F-bomb there. It's also been that type of week. But
Friday.
Man, it's
let it go. Let it
yeah,
flow.
Man, it is my show, so I can do whatever I want, I guess here. But it was never intended that way. So it's just like, Wayne, nothing but love here. Nothing but love. We're calling out Big Al today. We're calling out everybody today. It's nothing but love here, Wayne.
I'm so jealous that your time zones are all ahead of mine, which means happy hour is coming for you all much faster than me.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere, April, is all I'm going to say.
10 minutes
yes.
ago.
Yeah, I would say, I'm past noon, so we're good on my side.
Yeah, just pick up the cup at this point, put something in there. It's all good. But you really do take out the tone and think about. I mean, there's been multiple times where I become very frustrated, and the name of the show is Facts Not Feelings, and I want to hit send on that email, and instead I will throw that email into ChatGPT, and I'm like, take the feeling portion out of it, so that I don't send this and have the tone in it, because if I do that, I'm going to injure the relationship with the client or injure my relationship with whomever or a potential client, because my emotions are getting in that. And so just really do take that tone out of it to improve that communication. And to Wayne's point is that you do have those ears and listen with intent to understand. And we've got Brandy saying is no judging here. And Dan is saying, I share your pain, April, very much so. And Mike, I'm going to come over to you, and then we'll continue on here. But Mike, what was either you can continue with this or take one of your takeaways here, sir?
I think probably the most obvious thing to me was typically in my line of business, vendor means competition. But the way that April has framed this is that vendor explicitly means collaboration. It means a series of highly intelligent, but also capable individuals, which is another very important point of this is I feel very strongly after looking at the cast of characters that have been put together that they're highly capable of supporting you as well, right? So not only are we entering into an environment where you have a series of individuals who are very intelligent, you also have a series of individuals who really want to help one another and also help that dealer get the best answer possible, which I think, quite frankly, is extremely unique and it's very rare. I think in a lot of areas of, trying to create an understanding with you and the dealer.
Amen to that.
Man, you nailed it, Mike.
Man, you're dropping like you got all serious on us. We're like having fun over here, and he just dropped bombs over here.
That's why you got to wait till the end. You absorb all the info. And then
you
shut up.
I want to piggyback if it's okay, because from my point of view, I am in the dealers. I'm at the stores. When I got the opportunity to join this the first time, I was at one store and I had people kind of above me making decisions for our group. And now I'm in the spot where I get to take on that responsibility. And I think for me, exactly what you said, Mike, is so instrumental in my success and us at the dealer side, because we can look at all of our vendors and I can say, hey guys, I want all three of y'all to help me accomplish this goal. And you might say, okay, well, I can take this piece and then you can take this piece and you can take this piece as three separate vendors. But from me, I have three partners who are partners with each other and me trying to accomplish the goal. And I think that that's really important and has been a really incredible thing to experience over the last few months.
So while that is a very important question, a very important point, we have a very important question coming from Jordan Cox, wanting to know how we can find out how Mike got so beautiful. Mike, you want to take that question?
Oh man, I drink a lot of milk when I was younger.
And Jordan, I don't know if you happen to watch the entire episode, but go back and watch the lightning round questions, and you might see that he's actually pretty famous. I'm just going to leave it at that. So for the audience, if you have not watched the entire episode, go back and watch the episode. And just a little tease there for you. That's fine. A little tease there. Well, I do have to make a little bit of announcement here. And Dan, I don't know if you're still on here, and we're going to see if I can go find this here, is that for those that are attending Digital Dealer, obviously come see us at 1:00. We're at this point at nauseum. It's at 1 p.m. on the 18th at Wednesday. If you're not there at this point, we're going to probably have to hunt you down. Just saying, just going to have to hold up. We got Jordan Cox said, knew it. Mom was all right about the milk. So in between those times that you're not seeing us at 1 p.m. from 1 to 2:30, and like I said, if you're not, we might have a GPS tracker on you and might have to hunt you down. Come freaking see us. But in between times, this Dan, I might have to also hunt you down because this doesn't fill up the entire screen here. But Dealer Funnel is doing every day as happy hour with Dealer Funnel and Dealer World, Tuesday through Wednesday, 6 p.m. to midnight. Come by the booth to find out more. So this apparently doesn't fill the full screen, but they have the entire freaking penthouse. But stop by their booth, find out more, come check them out. Tuesday, Wednesday, 6 p.m. to midnight. So now you can see all of our faces here. So they're in the middle and you can see us all. But so
that's a long happy hour.
That's a long freaking happy hour. Yeah, go check out their booth.
You can go either before dinner or after dinner.
Yeah, that would be. That's
the
like
crew is really wanting to make sure that we could get there no matter what.
Yeah, that's like the Opry Digital Dealer. That looks fun.
And with the funness, if you've not been to Vegas lately, like there's the joys of the Formula One racing, and they're like torn down, like the streets are a freaking mess right now. So the taxi and cab rides are a little bit longer right now. So if you happen to be at dinner, it takes a little bit longer. They got you covered. And anyone that knows Dan Moore, he does things right when it comes to the whole putting on a party. So you're definitely going to want to check them out. And Dan is saying also, can't wait to be be front row with popcorn. And I learned if you fire back a tough email, save it for. Okay, now Wayne, you got us serious again here. Now we got to go back seriously. I learned if you fire back a tough email, save it for the next day. Yes, always wait 24 hours to respond. Peter Smith, got to get some milk. Yeah, got milk here. What about cookies? Inquiry minds want to know. Okay, we're back to the. Okay, Jordan, this is what happens. We go off the rails hill. Okay, Mike, we got to know. Inquiry minds want to know about cookies. You having some milk with that cookies with milk?
Yeah, you always got to do that. And, I live in Colorado, so there might be some other stuff in those cookies.
Oh,
too.
those are the best kind. Best kind.
Oh my God.
Those are my type of cookies. And Dan is also saying bingo, not our first rodeo. Back to the Mirage. Definitely go check them out. Check out their booth. And Brandy is saying, I have to jump in just a but can't wait until Dealer. I'll be at booth 1925. Come see me. That might need to be in caps there. I just made it caps there for you there, Brandy. I'd love to see you all in person. Well, we'd love to see you all in person as well, Brandy. We've also, Peter said, Oreo goes with best milk. Or, if you happen to be in Colorado, there's other type that go as well. So that works as well. All right, let's go. Let's go. April, I'm going to go back down to you because we started with Al. I'm going to go back down to you. What was one? I know that Al happened to steal one of yours. Did you have another one?
Definitely stole. And I guess my biggest takeaway is really kind of just bringing full circle the why this panel, the people, it's obvious. I picked the best of the best of the best of the best. Like I generally have the best humans, the smartest people that are going to be there to help. But when I used to go to Digital Dealer early in my career, or even quite frankly, 3-4 years ago, I would go with an intent on going to certain sessions to try to learn something, to solve an issue, or come up with a strategy that I wanted to bring back to the dealership. But unfortunately, if I watch a session and I don't get the answer that I was looking for, then I'm stuck going and trying to find a booth to talk to somebody. And usually you just have the salespeople there, and the salespeople are there to do one thing, and that's to sell the product. So I felt that there was kind of this void in between the sessions and, the expo hall that we could fill by giving people an opportunity to say, okay, hey, I just watched this session and I just talked to this vendor, but what is reality and how do I actually make this work and how do I actually solve a problem for myself at the dealership? So I'm really excited and passionate about this panel for that reason. I've been super blessed to meet all of these great humans, and they've all helped me along the way. So that is something that I'm super, super pumped about. Thanks, Brooke, throwing it up there. We have a huge crew. I have an absolute huge crew of people coming to help you in so many different areas, all these different acronyms and what do they mean and what do they look like. So yes, I wanted to just kind of get that out there. But communication, I have to piggyback the communication really quick because it wasn't the biggest one for me as well. This week, I did training for all of my teams for 3 days straight, which is why my voice sounds a little bit wonky. But I did 3 days of training, and what I used to do when I did training is I would do retail sales, internet staff, and then I would do the managers. And the manager training would be more focused on what they needed to do. And because of communication problems, now the manager training is literally just, I'm going to train you what I trained your people. Because what I really found happened if I didn't do that is that people would go back, their interpretation of what I said was different, and then the managers were just trying to figure out what my point actually was, and then it just kind of always fell apart a little bit. So that was something that, kind of a tidbit about communication that I was really taking from you guys, but something I applied this week of just realizing it goes within our group as well. 2 other ones about email. So I have one general manager who is an email warrior. Like, he is a keyboard, like, his emails are horrible. He sounds like the biggest jerk in the world every time he sends an email. So much so that I call every vendor and every OEM, and I'm like, if you get an email from him that makes you go, pick up the phone and call him. Because he just communicates that way via email for whatever reason, right? So some people are that way. But it's also, how do we interpret things as well? So sometimes our history gives us a bad interpretation. So one of my other general managers, we have a history, we've worked together for years, and he can be kind of bitey sometimes. So one little trick that I started doing, and this has worked beautifully for me, if I get a text message that makes me go, I stop and I pretend that it came from somebody else. Like if I read this text message and I reread it and I say, oh, this message came from Brooke, I'm going to read it and interpretate that message completely different than I will from somebody that I maybe have had history with. So I think sometimes communication is really about taking, I'm going to say the math, AKA the data, right? And then taking the emotion and trying to figure out how do we get those two to come together. And I think that is can be said through every single nook and cranny of our business, whether we're talking about taking the data and then, like Al said, making it actionable to our customers and taking that and bridging that gap and making sure that happens, or Allie, who's talking about communication with her group and making sure that the people she's showing things to are actually hearing it properly so that it gets executed properly. But I think communication is key all the way around, but it's just literally taking the data and the math stuff to the human and the emotional stuff and making it come together with a translator. Communication's the translator between the two.
Wow. And this is why it's called the April All-Star Panel 2.0, man. That is why. Holy shnikes.
April, I just sent you a text. Let's see how you interpret that.
If it's a picture of you already having a cocktail, you can suck
it. Do any of you guys integrate Slack into your dealerships, or do you guys do all just straight email?
We integrate.
I do it, but I'm not at a dealership.
I said we don't. Some of the stores have smaller ones, but we, before I got there, chose to use the Microsoft Teams platform, and so they have like Teams chats in there. But it goes back and forth because it goes back to what we were talking about earlier: is how do people expect to be communicated with? And that's one thing I'm still figuring out. Is I have 15 people who are technically my responsibility, and then they have, the hundreds of people with them. Some people want a phone call, want to hear me walk through it. Some people want that text, some people want that email. So it's a very tricky thing for me to say, okay, how can I hit all of the people's needs in the most efficient way? And sometimes it's an email about everything. And then it's a pick up the phone and call Mike, because I know Mike likes to walk through it and ask questions. It might be a text and be like, hey, Al, I just sent you an email. Can you check it? If that's the person who's not always in there. So I think that's something I'm still working through. I've also found that depending on the situation, with lack of oversight and lack of transparency, that sometimes they can get a little out of control, and people forget that they're in a professional setting and that this is a work sponsored group chat. And so I think that is there's pros and cons to all of it depending on what you're using it for.
Yeah, I was going to say we use Teams in our stores, but the one thing that I said earlier is just being adaptable and being understanding. And the one thing that, at least definitely with myself and the rest of the executive team, is we're not rigid in the fact that it's like, hey, we sent this email. I expect every person to read this email and understand that email. It's like I've got stores spread out, very far away. And sometimes I have to make that drive, that 3.5-hour drive to a store to sit face to face with somebody that could have been done in an email, but they won't understand until I have that face to face conversation. And I understand that, and I can't be mad at that person that's how I have to communicate with them. It's just reaching people the way they need to communicate. And that's the way I look at myself as a leader in the team, is that I have to adapt to everybody else. I don't make them adapt to how I want to communicate. And so that's the key here. So that's the reason, like, we haven't put Slack or anything. We have Teams that is used, the people who are savvy, I would say, they use it, but there's just people who won't. And if I don't sit down face to face with a person, they might not understand anything. So it's just being adaptable, I think, is very key.
You've got Peter saying, Allie, you're correct. There are too many communication tools that have a negative outcome if there's not accountable oversight. Peter has a question. I don't know anyone. I'm going to lob this up, and I don't do this too often because I don't.
That's a good question.
So and anyone wants to take this one. What is the most important factor for a digital product? Customer experience or dealership integration? And anyone that wants to put in the chat here your thoughts on this, go ahead as well. But our incredible panel up here, what are your thoughts on this?
I'm going to say one thing and then I'm going to move off from it. You have to have dealership integration in order to provide customer experience. So it's kind of both, because you can't give customer experience without dealership integration. So that the most important thing would be dealership integration, because you would never have customer experience without it.
Mike, you're nodding your head. I got a lot of nodding the heads. Are we all in agreement on this one?
No, I don't disagree with it. Anytime I look at any product or anything, I ask a couple questions. And the first question I always ask this question first: does this benefit our customers? So if the answer to that is no, then why are we even looking at it? If the answer to that's yes, now we start looking at, okay, well, how does this work? And so again, going on to what April said, is that yes, integration is key, because if it doesn't integrate, it's useless to the customer experience. But if it doesn't benefit the customer in the first place, why are we even talking about it? So those are the questions I always ask.
Yeah,
Mike's
April now hit it right on the head. I mean, we've basically seen that for any productized service or product, if there is average or poor dealership integration, you're going to have average or poor customer experience as well. So it almost goes hand in hand, right? But at the same time, it naturally is extremely valuable to create a customer experience that doesn't necessarily depend on the dealer always being there or the person always being there, right? In case, for example, maybe you're working with a large OEM and you have an area manager and they want their dealers to be able to interact with a report. The area manager is not going to always be there. So you're going to want to have that intuitive enough that they can actually leverage it on their own.
Peter, obviously you work in the automotive industry. If there's a closed API, I'm just going to say that. So everything has a closed API. So I would also say to this is that anytime you're looking at anything, is to everyone's point here, does it benefit? Does it all that? Is have a process in place before you ever move forward. Is it, why are we doing this? Are you just slapping a button on it because, hey, it's the cool new thing? Well, that's great, but why are you doing this? Like, in Dan Moore's terms, is that, are you buying your way out of operational inefficiency? Like, why the hell are you even doing this? Mm-hmm. So there are a lot of things out there that don't integrate. That, okay, we don't want to play well with others. Oh, we have a single sign-on. No, you don't. You're going to say you do, but you do not have that. Oh, we have this. No, you don't. You're going to say you have all this stuff, but you don't truly have that. So there's a lot of workarounds that you have to find a way to do these things because of the garden walls that a lot of companies like to do for their own reasons that are for another show that I've done multiple times. I'll just leave it at that. So yes, this is a hot button that all of us could drink and drop a ton of F-bombs and I could probably get kicked off the air for. So I don't know if that answers your question. Does anybody else want to talk about this or to add to this? And
Peter, I'll make it simple. In order for integration, you're right. There is no actual integration. Everyone says they integrate. There is no real integration because everything's locked up. So it's a matter of how is the baton toss happening, right? So in my process, does it help me because my baton toss is so small between here and here that it actually benefits my team or my products that I already have that then give the customer experience we're talking about? But you're right, there is no seamless. But if my baton toss is here to here, there's a lot more opportunity for it to drop.
I would say
another thing I like to look at too is going in that. It's like when we look at like integration, is also too is adopting it within the stores. So when we look at a lot of new products, we'll have our service techs look at it. We'll have salespeople look at who's going to be using the product. Let's not just buy a product and put it in there and say, hey, this is what you have now. It's like, let's have them look at it. Are you going to use this? Because we all know in the dealership setting here, I can go in there and I can walk up to Mike and say, dude, that's the best product in the world. I'm going to put it in every single one of my stores. And if the salespeople don't like it, guess what? It's going to fail. So it's one of those things. I bring the end user of any type of product in the decision-making process. That's an important part also. when you're looking at the stuff.
Mike C, what were you saying?
I would say that I know April, you were mentioning the baton toss between endpoints. I would say that on my end, and I guess on the CDP world of stuff, is that the good thing is that and I always say this whenever I speak in front of clients or from a conference or whatever, is that the dealers have the power to make these decisions, meaning that when they talk to their vendors are making decisions based off of everyone's inputs. And when those inputs come up enough, then they start to either look at that or say, hey, maybe we really need to start doing this. So although we are not there yet, I would say that we're inching towards a more open ecosystem, because over the last, I would say 12 to 18 months, the amount of people, not just in my space, but on other tools, of creating a better ecosystem of people working together, we are starting to see that shorten. We're not there yet, but I would say that for any dealers that are listening there, talk to your vendors that have data that you want a partnership with, or get those two people on a phone to figure out how to do that. But I'm a firm believer that we will get there at some point, damn it, and it's going to be awesome. And there's this like cloak of it's like a wonderland that we're like staring at that will be here soon, but we still have some work to do. But I think we do get there. And to the original point is it the integration or is it the experience side? I think April, hit the nail on the head, is that in order for it to be a unbelievable experience, is it has to integrate. And I would take equity as an example. If someone can go to your site, or they personalize what they have, and you have a personalized offer based off of what they're doing and all that stuff, that requires integration, which then leads to an unbelievable experience to that individual user. And, I think that's where we'll go. But for everyone out there, keep harping on people, and they listen to you. It doesn't get stuck into a feature request queue.
Amen. Mike or Allie, want to jump in on those? We go.
Wonderful.
From my,
You're doing great.
Go for it, Mike. Yeah, I think from my side, I wasn't even thinking dealership integration as far as like hooking up into our DMS. I was thinking about how the people in the dealership would take it and use it and make it a part of who we are and the culture we have. So that was the way I looked at the question. And to me, I was like, well, the dealer needs to be all in, like you're saying, Big Al, and then the customer gets to benefit from it. But I like what y'all are saying too about vendors listening to the people at the store for the things we need. So keep doing that too. I really am grateful for that.
All for that. Love it.
So,
go ahead, Mike.
I gotta get running here. I talked earlier saying I gotta go here, but Peter threw a question out here that I want to address before I leave. And the answer is yes. I have done focus groups with our customers before. And alluding to like what April said, when you go to digital dealer, you sit in a room, you want to learn something from somebody, and you don't learn anything. And then you go to a booth, and all they're doing is selling you. It's like, so when I have all these general managers, all these different people, vendors, everybody with all these different opinions on what I should do with my website. And I was like, well, we're asking the wrong people. It's like, let's ask our customers. So I did a huge focus group before I made some changes, brought in 100 different customers, and like, let's just get their honest opinion. It's like, because I have a manager sitting in a store who's using the website to look through inventory. Well, they have a different purpose when they're on that website as opposed to a customer who's shopping. So I want the shopper's experience, So yes, to answer your question, Peter, yes, I have done focus groups, and they've been great, and I will continue to do them. And on that note, I apologize, everybody. I have to get running.
Thank you.
Friday, friends. We'll see you.
I'll see you guys all soon.
We'll see you soon. And to Al's point, like we were actually talking about that, we happen to be in a conference together or an event together, and we were talking about how successful that was for him when he did that, because what he thought going into it, the end result was going to be was 180 degrees different. And he told me there at the end, I go, whoa, who ended up, did the consumer like best? And he just goes, it ended up being X product. And I just go, there's no way. I go, there's no way. Because statistically, that product does not ever do well. He just goes, I'm just telling you that the consumer liked this product best. I just go, I'm going to need to see, I got to see that. I got to see the results in this. Cause I just go once again, as all of us are very analytical, Allie, I'm including you on that one as well, is I just go, there's no freaking way. There are other words that came out of my mouth. I just go, there's no way. And he just goes, Brooke, I'm telling you. So that is why it's not about us. It's about what the consumer wants. And so, yes, obviously it needs to work and everything like that. But that is to Peter's point and to why Big Al does this, is that it works really well. We've got Peter saying, then we'll wrap this up here, is that, Allie, that was actually what the question was, because customer experience or dealer integration buy-in. Actually,
yeah, I mean,
buy-in of the
dealer buy it. Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha.
Cool.
Awesome. Oh man, this is, any other takeaways other than freaking come to our thing on Wednesday? I'm going to keep like pounding this drum. Anything we missed on this amazing episode with our incredible panel here, which is just a fraction of the amazing awesomeness, the Captain American Marvel Avenger team assemble here, that we missed here.
Well, I was hopeful that when I listened to it, I would understand the GA4 stuff more, but I didn't. So my takeaway is,
Allie, you can stop by and we can have a chat.
You need a Rosetta Stone.
That's what I need, like a Duolingo. Like, how do I speak in marketing? How do I speak in digital talk? I think my thing is just, and it's similar to what April said earlier, but just surround yourself with really great people who have a lot of knowledge. And I like that quote of, if you look around, you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. Like, I never want to be that person. And so even though it is, we're going to have a long relationship to get me to understand everything you said, I'm willing and ready to go on that journey.
That is why you always try to tell people smarter than you.
No worries. I can talk all day. So,
I gotta give Mike B props, because typically when you find somebody as smart as Mike B, and he doesn't look like a nerd, but he is a nerd, right? Because he's like that's just who he is. But he actually really can talk and communicate well with people, and you rarely find that. You typically find a guy like Mike B in a dark closet somewhere who will never come out. And yeah, I mean, it's just true. Like, it's really hard to get smart people to come out of the dark closet. And we have there's nothing better than being able to pull Mike B out and have him there at a table to help people, because he is one of the smartest guys I've ever met. So if you're having real struggles with some of those things in GA4, it's a cluster. He's your guy. Like, he's a guy that's going to be able to tell you, oh, I see your issue right now. Just do this or just do that. So you go and learn at a session and you want to make that actionable. He's your guy. Absolutely.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, I literally went back and watched. Listeners, yeah, super smart people. It was like, I learned so much just listening to everyone on this panel. I just go, man, it was just so smart. And we've got even Hannah chiming in who's going to be on the panel. So I mean, it's just so smart. And apparently, hold up. We got Jeff saying he thought we were going to be live from the Bellagio fountain. Sorry, Jeff, we're not going to be. Not be from the Bellagio fountain. And Jordan said, I thought the episode was going to be live from your closet. No, also not. None of those. No, sorry, guys. No. Have you not seen the post at this point? Come on, they're everywhere. But I just want to thank April. Thank you so much for wrangling and herding the cats on everyone to get us all to do this. I so appreciate it. It's not an easy task. And Hannah, thank you for making us look pretty on those social posts, because that's not easy either. And it's because of you that these posts are happening. So just thank you to everyone. And once again, Wednesday, the 18th, look at this freaking panel right here. Like, this is out of control. We have so many freaking people on this panel. And I think they're all on this panel. I think they still are. Maybe we've had some substitutions.
I do have one tweak on there because Colby, who works with Allie, he's on another session that they decided to schedule at the same time. So Colby won't unfortunately be able to join us, but we have Trey Hudson coming in to take his place.
And that
super excited there.
Fantastic. Well, okay. Apparently, Trey is now joining my panel, so there you freaking go, fan-freaking-tastic. Awesome. Awesome. I did not know that. Awesome. And Hannah saying, thank you, April Simon, our MVP. She is 100% our MVP.
Yeah.
So 100%
Yes,
big round of applause with that one.
Yes.
All right. Well, everyone, thank you so much. I so appreciate everyone being here and joining with us. I just cannot thank you enough. And we are so excited to see you in Vegas. Bring your questions. We will bring our answers. And as always, everyone, find a way to serve today. Find a way to, whether that is opening a car door, whether that is a kind smile, just find a way to just better someone's day. As we all know, it has been a hellish week. So just find a way to do some good in the world today. And with that, everyone, we will see everybody next week.